In World War II, I was a petty officer radar mechanic in the Royal Navy's Fleet Air Arm. My job was to look after the radar in the swordfish aircraft. Swordfish, affectionately known as stringbags, were biplanes, open cockpits, no heating, and were obsolete before the war began. However, they were instrumental in the sinking of the Bismarck, and also they destroyed half the Italian fleet at Taranto. My ships were escort carriers, converted merchantmen, so they weren't very big. My first was the Biter, which was used on Atlantic convoys. Then I was posted to Russian convoys, where we took munitions, tanks, guns to Murmansk to help the Russians in their fight against the Germans. I was on 3 convoys, 2 on the Vindex and 1 on the Campania. It's the one on the Campania I want to tell you about, because it's... Could you stand? Sorry. The one on the Campania I want to tell you about, because it involved an accident, an action of supreme sacrifice. We were in Scapa Flow, and we left on the 6th of February 1945 and joined a convoy of 33 merchant ships and a naval escort. Our route was to Murmansk, which was round the top of Norway, by Bear Island, and then south to the Kola Inlet. The Kola Inlet was about 20 miles long, narrow, and the end of it was Murmansk. Getting there was a cat and mouse affair, and we had on board a very popular Admiral MacGregor, and the Campania was his flagship for the voyage. Waiting for us was the Rasmus U-boat pack. It was spread along our expected route, but Admiral MacGregor took us north of that, so we escaped. And also there were 48 Junkers 88 looking for us, and they missed us. However, on the 10th of February, which happened to be my 21st birthday, we were attacked by 32 Junkers 88s who dropped bombs and torpedoes. The lookouts on the outskirts notified the convoy when the torpedoes were coming, and they turned to comb the tracks towards the oncoming torpedoes, so they escaped. The nights and the day, well, it was all night then, were bitter cold, snow showers, and I take my hat off to the pilots and observers of the swordfish, who had to take off and at night look for the U-boats by radar, and then return, find the convoy and land on a heaving flight deck with hardly any lights at all. However, all the merchant ships arrived at the Kola Inlet and went through. 2 of them collided, with only minor damage. The last ship to enter was one of the escorts, the corvette Denby Castle, which was torpedoed just on the outskirts, on the entrance to the inlet. Well, while we went to the far end of the inlet and waited there for the convoys coming out. And while we were there, naval intelligence discovered that Hitler had ordered the Germans to attack the Norwegian island of Sørøya and burn all the villages. And the result of that, The Norwegians were living in caves and mud huts in the bitter cold. The Sørøya was just south of the North Cape, which was just round the corner for us, so to speak. So 4 of our destroyer escorts went round to Sørøya, took off 502 refugees under the noses of the Germans and brought them back to Kola Inlet. There they were dispersed among the merchant ships. Of course, the problem was how to get out of Kola Inlet with the German submarines all waiting for us outside. So Admiral McGregor sent the escort out first, and they sunk a U-boat at the entrance to the inlet, and all of the Germans had also laid mines there. And the campaigner had paravanes fitted to the brow as an anti-mine measure. So we all got out of the inlet, and the sloop Lark was doing Arctic sweeps ahead of the convoy, and she was torpedoed and sunk. And then just as we thought we were clear of the U-boats, the corvette Bluebell was also torpedoed and sunk, just one survivor. Then the weather took a turn for the worse. There was a gale blowing. The campaign was listing from 45 degrees one side, then 45 degrees at the other, so everything below was a shambles. The quick destroyers were going rounding up the merchant ships, rather like a sheepdog rounding up the sheep. But then the weather got even worse, with the force of the wind was force 12, which is the top of the Beaufort scale, and the temperature was minus 40 degrees. Then the Thomas Scott, American Liberty ship, was sunk. 61 of the refugees on board and all the crew were got off safely. And then the another one, the Henry Bacon, another American ship, was also torpedoed, but she got separated from the convoy. She had trouble with her rudder, and she was attacked by 11 Junket 88, which sunk her. 3 of our destroyers went to help and found there were 41 refugees, Norwegian refugees in the boats, but only a handful of the crew. The rest of the crew had given up their places on the lifeboats to the Norwegian refugees, and they'd perished. There's a saying in St. John's Gospel, "Greater man hath no love than he gives his life for his friends." But these were just ordinary American seamen, and the Norwegians weren't even their friends. This was indeed the supreme sacrifice. As a postscript, all 502 refugees were landed safely in Scotland. A few years ago, my wife and I we were in the region, and we visited the museum at Hammerfest, which told the story of the rescue and of the rebuilding of the village. Thank you.